welcome to Math Monday. This is where you come to see how easy and fun it is to teach, learn, and do math. I'm Linda Cortez, also known as Kiki, and today my good friend
Calvino
and our guest teacher, Mr.
G.
Mr. G, is going to help us today as we make a fraction kit that helps you understand fractions, unit fractions, and even equivalent relationships with fractions. So I am normally a math turnaround specialist working with schools to show teachers how to make math fun and interesting so that even their math haters can become math-loving achievers. And now I'm showing you some of the same tricks and strategies that teachers use to work with their students. Okay, so let's see here. There are two key ideas that I want to share with you that kind of go into all instruction and especially math instruction. And the first one, I have a little graphic here that we can hold up and show you. Would you hold that for me, Mr. G? Okay, so the first one is that we learn math in 3 stages. And when you skip stages and go directly to stage 3, that's when the breakdown happens. So we think sometimes if kids miss these first stages in the lower grades and all of a sudden they're in middle school, or even as low as 3rd or 4th grade, and they start struggling, it's probably because the concept we're trying to teach them, they missed understanding in those 2 earlier stages. So the first stage is you experience the math with physical objects, and it could be manipulatives, it could be things that are in the real world, or it could just be a real world situation. And I want to point out something to you. You see my friend here? Okay, when we say real world, we're not talking about adult real world, we're talking about kid real world. So you look for things in their environment that relate to the concept that you're teaching. Not talking about building a bridge or working with your taxes. That is not relevant to children. So I wouldn't really consider that real world for kids unless they're older and they see the reason for that application. Okay, so the second step is after they have experienced the concept through the physical, real world, then you move to, what's that word? Do you know what that word is? I did not tell him ahead of time.
What?
Can you read that word that starts with the V?
Visual.
Yeah, visual. So seeing and graphic. So visual, graphic. So that might mean expressing their answer with pictures or showing kids diagrams that take them through a concept. And so then once they've done that, then you move to the abstract, which is using
Numbers.
and, do you know that word?
Symbols.
Symbols, yeah. So that's like the last stage is moving to numbers and symbols. So if you're trying to teach a child how to do fractions, like adding fractions with different denominators, and they haven't had these 2 stages, they're probably going to struggle. At best, they will memorize all the little things that you did, all the little steps, but they won't understand what they're doing, and if they don't remember that, then they're going to be totally lost, okay? Now, there's a second key idea I want to share with you, and that is this thing called the pyramid of learning. Why do you think that's called a pyramid, Gabino?
Because it's a triangle.
Yeah, it looks like a triangle. And if you notice at the top, it talks about lecture, 5%, reading, 10%, audio-visual, 20%, demonstration, 30%, 50% for discussion, 75% for practice and doing, and then 90% for teaching others. That's why teachers are so good at learning and doing, is because a lot of times they are learning something so that they can turn around and teach it to their students. I did a lot of that when I taught high school math. You know, I would have to pull out the book and learn it really quickly so that I could then teach it, because I started out as an elementary teacher. Okay, anyway, that was a side trip. But the thing about this is, would you hold that for me? And not in front of your face, because everybody wants to see you because you're cute. Okay. So the thing about this is this is talking about how well you retain what you learn. So yes, you learn it, but you are going to retain it a lot more if you actually get to do something to practice it, and you get to teach someone else, which means talking about it, explaining it. It doesn't necessarily mean you're standing in front of a classroom. It just means you're maybe working with a partner and you're showing them how to do it. So at home, if you have older kids teaching your younger ones or showing them how to do their work, that is like priceless valuable. And then today, what we're going to be doing is making this kit and then turning around and playing some games with it. So to me, they didn't really even put games on here as a category, and I've never seen it. Anytime if you Google this later, Pyramid of Learning or Learning Pyramid, you're going to find multiple images of this, and I've never in any of them seen games. Okay, you ready? Woo, there he is. All right, so the thing about games is I think they belong down there with the teaching and the doing. They're right in there, so we are in the right place. So now we're going to jump in and we're going to make the fraction kit, and if you brought materials that I showed you in the picture, you're ready to go and you can make the kit with us and figure out how to play the game right along with us. If you didn't, let me go through the materials that you do need. So you need some paper. 8.5, 11 is okay, but construction paper, which is 9 by 12, is even better. It makes it easier for students who are beginning to look at the colors and keep their pieces separate that way by the colors. So we're going to use these to make the kit with. And you don't need a whole sheet for a kit, because what you're going to do is cut these in strips. And I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. And actually I put an extra one in there, which is orange. So for what we're doing today, we're not going to deal with the orange one unless we have time at the end, but we're going to work with 6 colors. And what you're going to do is cut these into strips like this. So you can see that you're going to be able to get 4 of these across. So you can actually make 4 kits out of 6 sheets of paper. And each kit is going to contain 1 strip that is 2 inches by 12, because you're cutting 2 inches. And then you're going to have an extra little skinny 1-inch piece that you can use for something else. Today, we're not using it. All right, so you need the construction paper. You're going to need, for each kit, an envelope, just a regular size letter envelope, because you're going to use that to store all your pieces in. And if you're doing this in a classroom, then you'll want to have the kids put their names on it and label it. And it's the kind of thing that even though we're going to play a game with it today, you're not going to want to toss it aside, because if you have more fraction work, you can pull these out and use them as your manipulative. So remember when I talked about the 3 stages? This is that first stage we're working with here. And then when they move on and they start drawing pictures of these, then they're getting into the visual. Okay. Now, what else do you need? You need a marker. You'll need scissors. You're going to be folding and cutting and marking. And then the last thing you'll need is, in another session we talked about games with dice. So if you have dice, you can use just regular dice, and I'll show you how to adjust those when we play the game. Or you can make your own fraction dice. And in an earlier session, let's see if I can find them. Here they are. Okay, I'm back. Remember we talked about these color cubes that you can get at the Dollar Tree? You get this whole pack for $1. Okay, so I've only used 2 of them, and I've made dice for my fraction kits. So you're going to label them 1/2, 1/4, 1/16, 1/8, and I think that's it, right? Did I say them all? Okay, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. Put those aside. All right, so you've got all your materials. Now we're going to make our kit. And this is where I'm handing it over to our guest teacher, Mr. G. Mr. G, will you show us how to do it? We're going to make the fraction kit like this. Okay? Okay, so what do we start with, Mr. G? I'm ready.
Alright. Start with red.
Can we do it? Start with yellow?
Yeah.
Okay. See? I'm going to give you a little. I'm wondering if we're going to try to, Mr. G, I saw these. Is this what we're making today?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think these are already laid out, Mr. G, in the right colors, numbers, in the right order that we need them. And you know what, at home, you don't have to follow this order, but we are because we want ours to look like the other ones we made. Okay. All right. So what are we doing, Mr. G?
We're going to fold this
Oh, okay. Fold it half.
in half.
Oh, in half. Does it matter if I do it neat or do I have to? Is it okay if I'm
You
messy?
can do it mess
I can do it messy?
if you want.
I can? Okay. Mr. G doesn't know, but if I do it messy, it might be hard to play the game, right? Okay, Mr. G, go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you. Whatever. And then we open it up.
Okay.
And then
Oh, what happened to our scissors here? We keep our little homeschool basket with all our stuff over here.
get a
want
marker.
these? I have one. Do you want one? What color do you want?
Yeah, I'm gonna. No, I'm gonna put blue.
Okay. Yes, of course. I knew that.
Green.
All right. I'm going to use these little scissors because those are too big. All right. So what do we do with the scissors? Cut it?
No, no,
Oh.
no, no, no.
Okay. Okay. What do I do?
You write a 1, and then a middle line,
Mm-hmm.
and then write 1.
Oh, like this.
Yes.
Oh, like this. Okay. I'll bet that means one hole, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. What do I do next?
All right, then.
Tell me what you're doing there, because they need to know too.
Then write this.
What's
I'll
that?
show you guys in a second.
That looks like the word numberator. Numerator. What is that word?
You are 60. 2 years old. No, 63.
It's numerator. Okay. I don't know whether to act like a kid or an adult. Okay, helping a kid, whatever. So I'm letting him teach me. Okay. Numerator. Got it. Oops, I left that A out again. Okay. So that's on the top.
Goodness.
What goes on the bottom?
Then write denominator.
Denominator.
Yes.
Okay. And just a side note, if Mr. G would let me interrupt him. Just a side note.
Sure.
This is not really huge, but it's a good place to introduce the vocabulary because later on you're going to talk about things like common denominators, and you can talk about the meaning of these words as you go. Like the numerator tells you how many or the number of pieces that you have, and the bottom tells you how many pieces there are in all to make the whole. Okay? All right. What's next?
All right,
Mr.
now you get the red. I mean the green.
Oh, the green. Okay, I've got red next. But I'll do green. You want green? Okay, here's green.
Green.
All right, what do I do?
And then, you fold this in half.
It's got to be in half, Mr. G.
Yes, I know.
So-
I was trying to. Don't judge me.
Don't judge me. Yeah, a side note again is, I know I keep butting into the teacher, but you know, hey, I do that. Is when you want the pieces to be the same size, And so it's important to stress to kids to make the fold as neatly as possible, you know, and make your cuts precise. All right, now what, Mr. G?
And then you fold it in half again.
Huh? Oh,
Yes.
wait a minute. This is the piece we should be making next, isn't it? Oh, you're trying to keep it like this one, right?
And then fold it in half.
Okay.
And then cut it.
Cut it in half.
Yes.
So that's going to give me 2 pieces. What do I call those? This was one whole.
Half a piece.
Oh, okay. So these are 1 half.
2 halves.
2 halves make a whole. You see, you can get a lot of conversation about the pieces and the relationships as you go.
You can make it any color.
Yeah, we're doing our own thing here.
Yes.
Let's do the next one. Okay, only it'll be red because you chose red.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright, let me write my stuff.
Okay. I'm ahead of the teacher. Just saying.
Teachers do other stuff.
Okay, yeah, teachers do other stuff is right. Like, take care of kids that are acting out.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next, Mr. G?
Sit back in your chair. Alright, now we take the red one.
Okay, red.
Then fold it in half again.
Okay. We're doing a lot of folding in half, Mr.
Yes.
G. Okay, now what?
And then fold it in half again.
Oh. So now looks like it's,
Fourth.
what do you mean
1/4.
Oh, 1/4. So I have 4. So, okay, cool. Do I get to cut them?
Yes.
All
In
right.
the lines.
Yeah, on those fold lines.
Yes.
I need my glasses for this.
I actually can't see them with the light.
Yeah. Okay. And then I mark them, right? You know what, Mr. G?
Yeah.
I think on these next ones we shouldn't mark them all. When we play the game, we'll use the kit we already made. That way, we'll get through both games. And we won't be all extra long today.
Yes.
How does that sound?
That's
We can go out for
Kind of.
recess.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do we do next, Mr. G?
Then we write 1/4.
Okay.
You already.
I did. I'm ahead of you.
I told somebody to sit down.
Oh, okay. You were taking care of the class.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we take another one.
Okay. Can we do blue?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me how to fold it. I'm just guessing we're going to fold again.
In half.
Okay.
Then fold it in half again. Then fold it in half again.
I bet there's going to be 6 because look. 2, 4, 6. They're going to be 6? No?
8.
8?
1/8.
Where are there 8? I don't get it. Let me see.
Wait, did I?
1,
fold
2,
that?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like you got to fold it one more time, Mr. G. You had it like this, and then I think you have to fold it again. Okay.
I need to crease it.
Yeah. I'm going to do like Mr. G says. Now, like, the more times you fold it, the more you have to pay attention to those creases because it gets a little harder to crease. Okay. If you have kids who are not really good at cutting, help them out, okay? It's more about getting the pieces the right size and them folding and you asking them questions about, like, how many do you think there will be? And, like, when they get to this one, they almost always say 6. I don't care if it's 8th graders. They're going to say 6 because they're seeing a pattern which is something to point out about when you're looking for patterns. Sometimes you need more of the pattern to get the right pattern, because
Don't worry about that part.
until you get the whole enough of the pattern, it could look like a different pattern. Okay. So I'm wondering, Mr. G, when I do these eggs, I'm confused. It looks like they should go this way. Do they go this way or this way? I'm asking a question, Mr. G.
I don't have very good ears. Ask that again, please.
Oh, Mr. G. Do they go this way? Like when I write my 1/4, do I go like this?
No.
No? Okay, why not? It seemed like it would work. Look, I can put them across like this. These all match, these all match, these all match, these all match. Ooh.
No, you should.
Okay,
up
okay. I
like
see.
This way,
Okay, all right.
like how mine are facing.
Okay. That's also another common mistake that kids will make, so you gotta kind of watch them when they're doing it. It's when they get to the 1/8.
Watch your kids, eh?
Okay. You're a funny teacher. I like you. Okay. All right, now. Can I do some of these for you?
Yes.
I want to help the teacher. That's yours. That's yours. You got.
I'll get a piece of chocolate.
Oh, I get chocolate.
You didn't hear nothing.
I have a question. Why did we have to fold this in half and then we didn't cut it? This one. Because why? That, you know, forever because answer. Why? I don't get it. Like when I'm done, I'm just going to put them all in here, right?
Yeah.
So,
You don't have to make it neat though, in the folder thing.
and it won't fit. This one won't fit.
You have to fold it in half, that's why, but not cut it.
Oh, that's what you have to do. Okay, all right. So are we done with our kit or do we have more?
No, we still have one more.
Oh, one more. Okay. I bet it's this pink one, right?
Yes.
Okay, what do we do?
1/16.
How do you know it's 1/16? Okay, so like if you were teaching kids how to do this, you wouldn't tell them it's 1/16. You'd let them fold it, fold it again, and now it's the same as this piece, which is 1/8. And you know what? He was so smart. When we got to this, he did say 6 when we did these, but then he figured out it was going to be 8. And then before we even did this one, he said it's going to be 16. And it's kind of interesting because if your kids are
Because-
older, it's because what?
We're adding, like, see it's 2 plus 2 here,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 equals 8, and then another 4
Mm-hmm.
equals 16.
Okay, so you see how he's using addition because he is just exiting first grade. He's like at the end of first grade. Now, an older kid that knows, like, you know, they're having times tables drilled into their head, they might say, because you're doubling it each time.
4
okay?
times 8 equals
So-
16.
4 times 8 is 16?
Yeah.
That would mean 8. How do you get that? I'm confused.
Because, wait, no, 2 times 8?
2 times 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so 4
And it's
times 8.
2 groups of 8.
Okay, all right. Now, you see how when kids make wrong assumptions or they make wrong claims, don't tell them you're wrong. Ask them, how did you come to that conclusion? Or, I'm confused. How did you get that? And then, as they go back and they think about it and try to explain it, a lot of times they're able to rethink it and fix their own thinking. So that's another huge thing to know. I learned that early on. Never say or do anything a kid can do. And answer questions with questions. Those are like 2 huge nuggets to use when you're working with kids at home. Okay, so we're not going to take any longer on these, okay? Because we already have these kits ready, and we'll play the game with these if we need 16ths. We'll pull our 16ths out of here, okay? So here's your kit from earlier. And then let's just use this kit, but we'll use our 16ths out of here if we need them, okay? All right, so now I'm going to take over and show you how to play a game. And remember I said you can make your own fraction dice, and you're going to want to put 1/2 on one face, 1/4 on another face, and then make 2 faces with 1/8 and 2 faces with 1/16. You'll see why as we play the game, why you want to have more of those smaller pieces than you do of the bigger pieces. If you're using regular dice, here's what you'll want to do. Make yourself a little key, and it doesn't have to be exactly like mine, but just something that you can agree to. Let's say we're going to use 1. If we roll a 1, it stands for 1/2. If we roll a 2, it stands for 1/4. If we roll a 3 or a 4, 3 or 4 stands for 1/8, and if you roll a 5 or a 6, it stands for 1/16. Okay, so just repurpose the dice that you probably already have around. Okay, all right. Or another way I've seen it is people just make cards, little cards, like a deck of cards with those fractions, and just make more 1/8 and 1/16, put them face down, draw the card. Okay, so the first game is called Cover Up, and the object of this game is you're going to use this as your game board, and you're going to use these pieces to cover up whatever you roll. We're only going to use 1 die. I'll let you go first. And the object of this game is to be the first person to cover up your game piece. I'm going to check and see if they can see our game board on there. Probably should have checked that earlier. And you know what? If you're watching this, put a comment in, and I will send you something fun that has to do with more of these kinds of games and activities with fractions, okay? Yeah, they can see us. Okay.
Got 1/16.
Okay, so that means you get to take 1/16 out of that envelope and cover up 1/16 of his board. While he's doing that, I'm going to take my turn. I got 1/8, so I take 1/8 and I put it on my board. Okay, so far, it looks like I'm ahead of you, just slightly, okay? Let's see what happens on the next roll.
Please get me a thingy.
You want me to roll for you? No.
Oh, why am
guess
I
not.
doing that?
I don't know. You just need one of those. Okay,
Please get
roll
me
it
a
up.
green.
I'm going to get these out of our way.
Give me a green. Give me a green.
Ooh, you got 1/8.
Yeah.
Okay, so you cover up 1/8. I got 1/16.
Pass.
Okay, your
We're
roll.
We're even.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. That's cool.
Oh. Ah!
Ooh, you got a 1/2. Now, if he were to roll another 1/2, that turn would be no good because you have to cover it up exactly and not go over.
Yeah, because if I get another one of these, it won't be my turn.
Yeah. What does
That
that
won't be
say
a
on there?
turn. Eat.
Eat? Okay, I'm not going to ask what eat is because it might be something inappropriate.
No, it's
Is it?
appropriate.
What is it?
It's appropriate
What is
that you throw somebody across. something.
Yeet! Like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
like a
something.
sound effect.
Yeah.
Like yeet!
Yeet.
I got a 1/8. Okay, so I get to cover up 1/8. All right, your turn. Oh, see, I talked about it and he rolled a 1/2. So nothing happens on that turn. I got a
Did you hear
1/4.
me?
Yes, I did.
No.
Okay, So, how much do you need? Let's figure this out. Would a 1/4 work? You could get a 1/4.
A 1/4 and then a 1/6.
Is there any other way you could do it? What if you got a 1/8?
Well, that one.
Then you could do another 1/8 and another, or a bunch of 1/16. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see what happens.
1/4.
Ooh, can you use that? Yeah.
I'm
Now
winning.
you only have one.
I need a 16.
You need a roll.
Give me a 16.
So now do you see why you want more of these smaller ones? 1/2. Whoop, whoop. Oh, okay. Got excited for nothing. Your turn. This is on the floor.
116. Oh!
Did you win?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, he's the winner of Cover Up. Okay, so now we're going to play the game and do the opposite thing. This game is called Uncover. And I want you to empty your board off. Empty it off. This, the yellow thing, this is your game board, okay?
Oh.
All right, so, and we're going to cover it in a very specific way to begin the game, okay? Now, this game is going to start getting into some ideas about equivalence because we're going to cover it with these, with 1/2, 1/2. This is how we start off the game with the game board covered like this. So cover it with both of those. Now, whatever you roll, you can uncover. And what's going to happen is if I don't roll a 1/2 on the first turn, I'm going to have to make some trades. Do you understand what I mean by trades?
No.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out as we go. Okay, here. The winner gets to roll first. You can make the roll however you want. 1/2. That's a lucky roll. I wasn't watching, but I hope he didn't. He did that fairly. Hope he did that fairly. Okay, so take it off.
I didn't
Put it
cheat.
there. Didn't cheat? Okay. 1/16. I don't have 1/16. What am I gonna do? No, wait. What am I gonna do? Can I make a trade?
Yes. You
What? How can I trade? Help me out here.
You can give it up.
Do I want to put all these on there, or what if I do? What if I start with this one? Then how many of these would I need?
No.
No.
You have to put the 16s on.
All of them?
Not all of them. Just on the.
Like cover this
one.
whole thing with 1/16,
Not. Yes.
and then take one off. Okay,
Yeah.
that's one way.
That's one way. Yeah.
I think I might come up with a different way. What's a different way I could do it? Notice I didn't say better. What's a different way I could do it that doesn't involve so many of
You can
these?
just put 2 of these.
Oh, okay. So I'm trading 1/4 or 1/2 for 2/4. It's the same
Yes.
thing. Okay, I still don't have a 16th to take off. Now what do I do?
That's it.
No. I can make another trade. Don't cheat me out of my
Yes, I
turn.
know.
What can I do? I might need more of these. Get some more out. Okay. Could I trade this for some of these?
Yeah.
How
sure.
many? How many is it going to take?
Probably 3 or 4.
Okay, there's 3. That's not quite enough, is it? I think I need 4. Okay, see how we're working in some equivalency? Okay, so
Here you
4. Okay, now I can take one off. Woo-hoo!
Now you
Alright.
get to roll.
Did you just take your turn?
No.
Oh, no, it's your turn now. I rolled.
Yeah, I did. Let's see.
You took
Oh,
a half.
yeah, you did.
Now it's your turn again, okay? These teachers, they got too much on their mind.
1/16. All right.
Okay, so you got to kind of do the same thing I did, don't you? But I'm going to challenge you to do it a different way. No, you're trading for this.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I think you have to do it a different way. How about if you put this on there, and then how many do you need? How many 16? Now,
All right,
can
now
you
I
take
get to
one off?
take one off.
Ooh, he's He's kind of winning there so far. Okay, 1/8. I don't have any eighths. What can I do?
You can trade this.
For one of them, right?
Yeah, for any.
I can trade this. Okay, and what did I roll? 1/8? Is that what I rolled?
Yeah,
Okay, so now I can take off 1/8. Okay, your turn. Boo. What'd you get?
1/4.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's too easy. 1/16. Ding. Okay, your turn. He has to get it exactly, okay? By the way.
1/16.
Oh,
Woo!
so now, what do you need to win? There's only one roll that's going to help you.
1/8.
1/8. 1/16. Okay, I'm going to trade it for 2 of these. I think you guys are starting to pick up on this, so I'm going to go fast here. And I can take one off. Sheesh. Okay, your turn. 1/16. You can do that. You can, yeah, you can trade. Forgot there was actually 2 ways you could win that, or you could play. Okay, now you can take one off. Now there's only one roll you could get. 1/8. Okay, you need a 1/16, baby. Come on. Lucky 1/16. 1/4. Ain't gonna do it. Nope. 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 You can't trade. It's too big. 1/2. Woo woo! Finally. Okay, now we're even. Who's gonna get the 1/16
Me.
first?
Me. I told you.
Okay, all
That
right.
baby gets some love.
So you won twice.
Yay.
Good game, dude. All right, awesome. All right, so there you go. That's how you make a fraction kit. Those are 2 games you can play, and there's a whole lot more. If you've been watching this or you watch it later, put a comment, like and share. If you put a comment, then I'll know to send you more of these activities. And you can also go to the website Red Hot Math. This is my Mother's Day gift. I love it. You can go to Red Hot Math and click on there's a link on the very first on the home page. You might have scrolled down a little bit to see it, but it says something about COVID, help for COVID math, or COVID-19 math help for parents. And you click on that, and that puts you in my email list where you'll get a free parent. No, you don't get free Fortnite. You get free handbook for parents on how to help your kids with math, and then you'll also get games and ideas as I roll them out. So I'll be sending out this week later a booklet that has activities on these. I already sent out something about the card games, and then this week early you're going to get the dice games, and then this one here. Okay, so make sure that you share this, because even if you don't have kids at home or you're not a teacher, you probably have lots of friends on Facebook that are just dying to have something fun and challenging to do with their kids. And I'm also trying to give you a few little tips that'll help you along the way. So please like and share and comment below, okay? And
instead of spreading germs, spread math love.
oh, I love it. Okay, that's awesome. All right, and this is teacher Mr. G and teacher
Known
K.
as Gavino.
Also known as Gavino, and I'm also known as Linda Cortez. Okay, thank
And
you.
Kiki.
All right, stay there and smile.